Hi, I'm Dr. Dana Gibbs. If you've been told your thyroid is normal, but you're still exhausted, gaining weight, or struggling with brain fog, there may be more going on. In this video, I'm going to explain 3 often missed reasons why you can still have low thyroid function even when your labs say everything is fine. So I'm going to break it down for you and help you move towards real answers. Let's get started. You're listening to the Beyond the Thyroid podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dana Gibbs. I'm an ENT surgeon and hormone specialist. For years, I struggled with my own unrecognized thyroid problems before and even after I was regularly performing thyroid surgeries. Then, one day, I learned something that turned my health around and opened my eyes to the limits of mainstream medicine in treating more subtle thyroid abnormalities. I spent the next 20 years fine-tuning my hormone expertise in disorders like Hashimoto's disease, perimenopause, and stress-related illness. Come join me as I share this new approach to hormones that empowers you to take control of your own thyroid and hormone imbalances. Let's dive in. I have a really exciting announcement. Because up to 50% of people who suffer symptoms of low thyroid, the low energy, the weight gain, the gut problems, the thin hair, dry skin, will be told by multiple providers that there's nothing wrong with their thyroid before they get a diagnosis because they have normal TSH, I am going to build a new offering in my practice that I'm going to call the Thyroid Checkup. Because this circumstance is so discouraging and frustrating when you know you don't feel like your normal self. I know because it happened to me and hundreds of my clients. So if that's you, what you need is access to advanced thyroid lab testing and analysis by an experienced and qualified specialist who goes beyond guidelines-based thyroid care to help you finally know where you actually stand in regards to your thyroid. This will be a small group program with direct access to me, where I'll help each person get answers about their thyroid status and next steps to recover their energy and vitality. So if you want more info about this, go to www.danagibbsmd.com/checkup to get the earliest notification when I open this program. It's going to be soon, so don't wait. Here's something really shocking. Studies suggest that up to 40% of people with thyroid symptoms are told that everything is fine because their TSH is in the normal range. But normal is not always optimal, and if your symptoms are being dismissed because your labs are normal, you might be missing a critical diagnosis. So let me tell you about a patient. I'm going to call her Sarah. That's not her real name. But she came in after years of feeling tired, puffy, and cold. Her hair was thinning. She couldn't lose weight no matter what she tried, and her mood was very low. But her doctors kept telling her she was fine because her TSH was normal. Eventually, somebody tested her thyroid antibodies and said, oh, you have Hashimoto's disease, but nothing else changed. So she came to me, and once we put the right treatment plan in place, her energy and her mood began to return. So today's topic is 3 hidden causes of hypothyroid symptoms that often go undetected when your TSH level is normal. Then, after that, introduce the single most useful lab value that I use in my practice, and we'll cover that in depth in a future episode. So, Hashimoto's and thyroiditis is number 1. When your immune system sabotages your thyroid. So Hashimoto's is the most common cause of hypothyroidism in the United States. It's an autoimmune disease where your immune system can start attacking your thyroid gland. And what people don't realize is that this damage can go on for years before your TSH becomes abnormal enough to show on the standard lab tests. In fact, many patients, especially for women, walk around for years with symptoms like fatigue, thinning hair, constipation, puffy face, brain fog, without getting a real, full, in my opinion, set of thyroid labs. So the first tests you need are thyroid peroxidase and thyroglobulin antibodies. These tell us whether your immune system is attacking your thyroid or not. The other things that you should get would be a full thyroid panel, including the free T3 and the free T4, not just the TSH. And then one more set that I'll tell you about at the end. Hashimoto's disease impairs the enzyme that's needed to convert your main thyroid hormone T4 to the active hormone T3. This enzyme is called type 2 deiodinase, and if it's not working optimally, you could have plenty of circulating T4, which is the pre or less active hormone, but very little of the active hormone where it matters in your cells. The good news is this testing that I recommend is simple. It's often covered by insurance as long as the correct diagnostic codes are used by whoever orders it. The bad news is many non-physician providers or even physicians don't order these tests, or they don't interpret them correctly. They may even prescribe you T4 replacement without checking T3, and that can make you feel worse, not better, if not having enough T4 is not your problem. So Hashimoto's disease is a progressive disease. Early intervention matters. If you catch it early, you can do a lot of different things that help stop the progression or slow down the progression, support your immune system, reduce your inflammation, and improve that conversion to T3, occasionally without meds, but not always. All right, number 2, stress. When your body slams the brakes, stress is not just in your head, it's in your hormones. Chronic stress increases a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol directly interferes with how your body activates thyroid hormone. It does this in 2 ways. Of course, we said already, your body mostly makes T4 and then converts T4 into T3. The active form that speeds up your metabolism, clears your brain fog, and keeps you energized. But under stress, your body shifts more of that T4 into a chemical called reverse T3. Reverse T3 is a mirror, it's not a mirror image, it's similar enough to T3 that most people looking at the chemical structure can't tell the difference. It binds to the same receptors, but it doesn't activate them. It's like a key that fits in the lock but doesn't turn the knob. So when reverse T3 gets high, it blocks the real T3 from doing its job. So reverse T3 goes up in chronic stress, which can include trauma, sleep deprivation, infections after surgery, even yo-yo dieting. In fact, yo-yo dieting and gaining and losing your weight are some of the biggest triggers I see for this problem. This problem is occasionally called functional hypothyroidism or low T3 syndrome. I generally call it something else, but in this, your TSH can look normal, your T4 can look normal. Even your free T3 might look okay on your labs, but if your reverse T3 is high, nothing is working right at the cellular level. Here's another thing. If you have high levels of cortisol, it interferes with the brain signaling your thyroid to make more hormone in the first place. And so you can push your TSH down into the normal range. Maybe I ought to back up. So high TSH means your body is trying to signal your thyroid gland to make more. Low TSH means your body is, for some reason, signaling that you have enough. If you have normal or low TSH, but your free hormone levels are low, it could be that your cortisol, your high cortisol, is suppressing that TSH and keeping it from triggering the production of thyroid hormone. So when nothing is working right with these labs, many practitioners will really overlook the reverse T3 and the free hormone levels and misinterpret that, leading to suboptimal results or even unnecessary side effects. There is one more important cause of normal TSH plus inadequate thyroid function or hypothyroidism. And that's a genetic defect where the enzyme that makes T3, the main enzyme that makes T3 from T4, is damaged. So your thyroid gland itself is fine. Your TSH is normal. You don't have autoimmune disease, but you still don't make enough T3. And maybe you make too much reverse T3. Why? I've seen statistics of 15 to 40% of people of British descent and other populations too carry what's called a SNP, an SNP, a single nucleotide polymorphism in the gene that is for the enzyme type 2 deiodinase. And if that enzyme is impaired, it doesn't make nearly enough T3. This is not something that's going to show up on routine lab work. It's not a genetic test that you can go get. But if you've been on T4 medicines like levothyroxine and you still feel terrible, this could be your missing piece. There are also nutrient factors like selenium, zinc, and iron that are required for enzymes to function. And I'll cover that in a future episode. And of course, stress and inflammation, which makes all of this problem worse. There's one other thing about having one of these polymorphisms, and that is if you have that and if you have Hashimoto's, your risk for insulin resistance is very, very elevated compared to the general population. And insulin resistance is enough for a whole other podcast episode, so I'm going to save that. But insulin resistance makes it easier to gain weight, easier to have high blood sugar, and more risk for diabetes. So it's not just if you have diabetes. You can have insulin resistance without diabetes or even prediabetes. So once again, the labs that I generally check, I am going to check that TSH because I do believe it's helpful, but I also want to see the free T4, the free T3, the total T3, and the reverse T3. And sometimes I will check mineral levels in patients as well. So you've heard me mention reverse T3 several times now, and you're probably wondering, okay, how do you know if that's a problem for you? Well, there's a simple ratio that I use, and that is the total T3 divided by reverse T3. And if that ratio is under 10, that's a red flag. You're not getting enough active hormone activating your cells and your DNA. Interpreting this ratio is not always completely straightforward, so in the next episode, I'm going to walk you through more about what this test is, how it works, why so many people are misdiagnosed or mistreated, because it's either misinterpreted or ignored. All right, so let's review. There are three main hidden reasons why your thyroid might not be working, even if your TSH looks fine. And those are Hashimoto's disease, that's an autoimmune attack on your thyroid, a stress-driven suppression of your thyroid gland or stimulation of reverse T3 instead of T3, or poor conversion from T4 to T3 caused by genetics. And remember, sometimes the real issue is hiding in plain sight. So stay tuned for the next episode where we will uncover this most misunderstood thyroid test. All right, so if this sounds like something you need to figure out, I want to tell you about my new training that's coming up. It's called the Thyroid Checkup. Ordinarily, when I see a new patient one-on-one, it involves hours of detailed questionnaires, a comprehensive lab panel, extensive records review, and that's before we even get to our face-to-face visits, which are also pretty extensive. It's a lot to go through, and it usually costs thousands of dollars. But I really want to get this amazing testing method and analysis method into the hands of a lot more people who need it. So the thyroid checkup is designed to answer two questions. Do I even actually have a thyroid imbalance? And what do I do next to fix my problems? So getting that clarity can be such a relief, especially after years of frustration and exhaustion, being dismissed because your TSH isn't bad enough, or being led on by so-called thyroid experts who don't understand the science and can't prescribe the medicines you may actually need. So in my new program, I'll help you get exactly the labs you need. I'll show you how I analyze them, review your history, and I'll get you started towards the right treatment regimen. I'll even meet with each participant one-on-one to go over everything and answer questions. So go to www.danagibbsmd.com/checkup right now to get more information and save your spot on the priority wait list. I expect this program to sell out quickly, so don't delay, and I'm opening the applications very soon. So imagine if you could wake up refreshed. Imagine finally having the energy to move through your day with focus and purpose and confidence. Imagine getting real answers, feeling like yourself again. All right, thanks for listening to Beyond the Thyroid. I'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to this episode of Beyond the Thyroid. If you found this information valuable, it would mean so much to me if you'll take a few seconds and give the podcast a 5-star review. It helps other people who need this information find the show, and it's really easy. Just search and click on the name of the show, Beyond the Thyroid, and scroll to the bottom to ratings and reviews. I truly do read and appreciate every one. Remember, when it comes to hormones, there will always be more to discover. So follow the show so you get the next episode as soon as it's released. And if you or someone you care about needs a caring doctor to help figure out how to heal hormone problems that other doctors have dismissed, check out my website at www.danagibbsmd.com. And if you're not a physician, please keep in mind, while I'm a doctor, I'm not your doctor. The content of this podcast is my opinion, and it's for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is not meant to be individual medical advice, and you should consult your own physician for any medical issues or diagnoses that you may have. I look forward to continuing this journey with you beyond the thyroid.